Hey, everybody, Ben Frederickson here with Jeff Gordon for a little hockey talk here at stltoday.com. Gordo, we were talking about what we're going to talk about this week, and you said, hey, here's the deal. The Blues just have to go out and they have to beat the teams they should beat. And the good news for the Blues is usually this season when they're playing the worst of the worst in the NHL, they look like a Stanley Cup championship contender against the really bad teams.
Yeah, they just need to pile up victories. Gosh, you go into Ottawa, they're not a bad young team, but they had a serious bunch of injuries. The Blues, wobbled a bit, but they won the game. Great show by Tarasenko and Thomas and Buchnevich. They just clowned them basically. Great display of offense, but they just have to keep it going. They're in probably the softest stretch of schedule. They're in a division that's going to be very intense right down to the end for playoff positioning. The conference is going to be difficult right down to the end for playoff positioning. You've got to bank these. You cannot play down to your competition because there are some really good teams coming on right now. I mean, Calgary's in the West is playing great, and Winnipeg showing some life, and Dallas is hanging around, and Minnesota's been a surprise. So when you go to Montreal, they haven't won but one game since December 16th. Beat them. Stomp on them. Just roll them off the ice. You go into Philly, they're in the middle of a rebuild, take care of them. You see the Blackhawks again, step on them. Bedford, this is no time to play down to the competition. The Blues have to bank wins.
And they're healthy, and their scoring is flashing here. We've talked plenty about the goalie situation, and we'll continue to talk more about the trade deadline. But we're getting a full read here on what this team can do offensively against subpar competition with a fully healthy team. I mean, this should bode well for what comes against tougher competition, right? All of these guys getting their confidence up in scoring and the depth of these lines.
Well, absolutely. And I think trying to get David Perron going again and getting him back with Ryan O'Reilly and making sure you're not losing track of Brandon Saad in the shuffle here. These are important things. Right now, Tarasenko is all the way back, and Thomas is breaking out, and Kyrou's breaking out, and Buchnevich has been a really pleasant surprise. But, while you're beating up on these younger teams, hey, this would be a good time to get David Perron going. A good time to remember that Saad needs to play on the power play and get Ryan O'Reilly's production up as well. So, yeah, you make the most of these opportunities that you have because you want to, you're going to need everybody and everything, once this thing gets down to the stretch.
And perhaps while you're playing some of these teams that are not playing for much this season, keep an eye on the defensemen to see if there might be an upgrade there for the trade deadline. I mean, the Blues don't need help scoring. They don't need help in terms of forwards. They need some grit, some physical presence on the blue line, and they're going to be playing some teams here in this stretch where some of that help could potentially come from. So keep an eye on that. The scouts will be busy there as Doug Armstrong tries to figure out the right move for this team. Keep it locked at stltoday.com for all of your Blues coverage. We'll be back next week. For Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. We'll talk to you next time.